to the Ray and Jake Show, Week 1, Episode 1. Man, I'm excited to be here.
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Let us do this.
Let us do this. Jake, why are we doing this? This is not us.
So we talk about sports all day, every day. If you know Ray and myself, I'm Jake, by the way. This is my my co-host here with me, Ray. We talk sports all day, every day. Our wives are always making fun of us because anytime we talk to each other, we're talking NFL, college football, doesn't matter, we're talking sports. And they're always making fun of us that we have all this useless info that we don't share with anyone. So we're like, might as well talk how we normally do and start sharing some of our opinions and takes with you all. So that's kind of the vision. Yes.
Make it useful is the key here.
Yep. So we're going to be talking about college football weekly. We're going to talk about NFL football weekly. We're going to talk about 4 specific teams when it comes to college football because a lot of you people listening are going to be fans of these teams. We're going to talk about Missouri every week. We're going to talk about Kansas State every week, Nebraska every week, along with Kansas every week. We'll recap what they did the week prior, and then we'll look forward. We'll look forward to what they have for the next week. And then we're going to talk about some other, winners of the week, losers of the week. Today, we're actually going to go through our playoff predictions as well, and some other fun topics. And then we'll get into a little bit of the NFL today. Today is actually the Chiefs home opener that Ray and myself
Super excited.
will both be at.
Yeah, home against the Ravens.
Yep. Big game. We'll get into that in a little bit, though.
Right.
Let's start talking college football.
Yeah, let's get after this here.
Where do you want to go first?
Season predictions? You want to start off with that?
Yep.
Let's do it.
We can do that. Do you want me to go or do you want to go?
Yeah, let's just go team by team.
Okay.
You can start
Let's
us
start
off.
with Missouri. Let's start with the Missouri Tigers. We have some we're going to have some listeners that are unfortunately Missouri Tigers fans. I'm a Kansas guy, Ray's a Nebraska guy, but we're just basically doing these teams because we know a lot of people who like these teams and have high expectations. So the Missouri Tigers, I have that they're going to go 9-3 this year.
Wow. Okay.
That's actually a little bit lower than most people think.
Really?
Going into week 2, they're number 9 in the country. People are very high on Luther Burden. I do think he's going to be a good pro player. I'm just not sold on Brady Cook or Eli Drinkwitz.
Me neither. I don't trust, what they have at the QB position. Week 1.
When you say you don't trust it, up to what extent? Do you mean that you don't trust him to win big games? Because he has proven he can win games.
Really? Okay. Well, I don't watch it every week, but I just feel like when I do watch him, he lacks the firepower. He lacks the gunslinger. I think he can make throws. I think he's a good quarterback, but to be, one that's going to fire and pressure and win games, you're right. I just don't trust him in the big ones. I think he's going to drop. I think Missouri, they're just going to drop a few important
So do you
SEC
think they make
games
the
along
playoffs?
way. I do have him in the playoff.
Okay.
Just creaking in, and I'll explain why once we get to our week 1 losers.
And I'll go over who I think they're going to lose to. I have them losing to Oklahoma, Alabama, in one of these next 2 games, either Texas A&M or Arkansas.
Now watch out for Arkansas.
They looked pretty good week 1. Some of our people are going to say, well, hey, Mizzou owns Arkansas. That is true. You guys have owned them in the past. I just feel like this might be a different Arkansas team. Arkansas plays at Oklahoma State this weekend. 6.5-point dogs.
That's going to show. It's going to show a lot.
Yes,
their quarterback was legit when we watched him. So yeah, I agree. I think Mizzou's going to struggle with those 2 teams. Definitely Alabama, Oklahoma, and I just think th're going to drop 1 or 2 more. But for my sake,
I believe they play at Texas A&M, which is why I have them losing. But what do you have as their record? I have 9-3. To be clear, 9-3, missing the playoffs. Good year, but missing the playoffs.
I'll agree 9-3. Whether they do drop Texas A&M or Arkansas, I think it will be one of those 2. Connor Wegman, he's got 2 or 3 weeks to figure it out, based off his last showing against Notre Dame. But yeah, I think they'll drop at least 1 or 2 outside of Oklahoma and Alabama. And hopefully it's only 1, so then I think they'll squeak into the playoffs potentially.
Yeah, currently they're ranked 9th, so it helps that you disagree on this, but it helps, in my opinion, when a team is preseason ranked higher because when they, drop a game or two, they're only sliding. For example, if they lost this weekend, they're playing Buffalo, which is a no, and they're not going to lose. But if they lost, they're still going to be ranked. They don't have as far up the mountain to climb.
So my counter to that is Florida State. And we're about to get into the week one losers after this. But Florida State drops the first two games. You're right. One loss, they only dropped to 10. Second loss, they're out. They're not even rated. So, over a course of a season, a body of work, if you drop some games, especially if they're not important games, and you drop one of those, it's almost like it doesn't matter whether you're rated or not, you're gone. That's where I disagree. But I think you're right. I think Mizzou, they're going to lose to the most important teams, most likely. And I think that they're going to lose
They also lost their defensive coordinator, Blake Baker, to LSU.
Really?
Big loss. Yep, he went to LSU. They lost a lot of defensive pieces. I think their offense is going to be fine. I think they'll score on anyone.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they'll be able to stop a nosebleed. So it'll be they do have some good transfer players. They have a transfer from Clemson. Week 1 had a pick 6, plays corner, good player.
Did the 5-star at Lee Summit North play this weekend?
Honestly, I don't know. We'd have to ask some of our Missouri. I didn't watch the game, to be honest. It was the first time Eli Drinkwitz has ever covered a spread larger than 38.5 points.
That's a stat.
Yep.
That's a stat.
51-0. Good win. All right, let's go to the next school.
Yep.
Kansas State.
Kansas State.
What do you have them doing?
Kansas State.
The Big 12 foe.
Yeah, I think they're going to be really good. I think that they got a tough schedule, though. They've got kind of a string of games that are going to give them some challenges, including Kansas. I don't think that they're going to struggle with anybody really outside of Kansas and Oklahoma State. BYU is going to be a challenge.
You don't think they're going to struggle with Arizona?
I don't. I don't think they're going to struggle there. I like their coach. Kleiman's he's
program builder.
He's a dog. He's kind of like Matt Rule in that way. I think that they're going to lose one game, and I'm going to say it's going to be Kansas.
So you have them getting into the playoffs, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Do you have them winning the Big 12 title game?
Yes.
Beating who?
Kansas.
So you don't have Utah in the Big 12 title game?
That's a good question, actually. Nope, I made a mistake there. They are going to be in the Big 12 title. They're going to lose to Utah, but they're going to lose to Kansas also in the regular season.
So you have them going 10-2.
Yeah, my fault.
So I have them going 9-3.
Okay.
I have them losing to Arizona, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia.
Were you impressed with Oklahoma State week 1?
No.
I wasn't either.
I was not, but I just think they play a very weird style of football. And now they do play Oklahoma State at home. I don't like Oklahoma State's quarterback. Ollie Gordon's good. He gets about 55 touches a game, which kind of drives me nuts because I'm a Devin Neal guy. But I think they beat Kansas. They play Kansas at home. It's a big game. I think they'll beat us. But I do have them losing to Arizona, Oklahoma State, West Virginia. They play at West Virginia later in the year, mid-October. Tough place to play. Green, West Virginia's quarterback, kind of scrappy. I can see them losing that game. I also don't think that they have as much depth on the defensive side of the ball as they've had in the past. They've lost some good NFL quality or caliber defensive players. So yeah, I have them going 9-3 as well. Missouri 9-3, K-State 9-3.
The depth on the defensive side of the ball in the Big 12, does that really matter?
I think it does now that the Big 12 is deeper than it was.
Okay.
Like I think when they play Arizona, two opposite styles colliding. Arizona, spread them out, throw it. Arizona's going to have a first-round pick receiver that went for 304 yards in week 1. They played no one, but he still went for 304 yards. So they're just going to spread them out and throw the pigskin all over the yard.
So you think they're basically going to lose all their big games?
No, I think they're going to beat Kansas. I think they're going to beat us.
Okay.
They also have a big game at Iowa State. Last game of the year, they lost to them at home last year. That was a snowy game. I don't know if you remember that. Absolute blizzard.
See, the opposite of Brady Cook, I like their quarterback. I think he's
To me, he
A lot
has
better.
not shown me anything yet.
a young guy, you know.
I just worry about him throwing the ball. For example, week 1 against Tennessee Martin, he went 14 for 21 with 2 touchdowns and a pick.
Mm-hmm.
That just doesn't scream. Now, their running back Giddens is a beast.
Mm-hmm.
They do have Dylan Edwards transferred in from Colorado.
Right. He's going to be good.
But he's their backup, and I don't know. I just need to see more from. Avery Johnson's arm. I think his legs are great. I just need to see more from his arms. So
I feel you.
let's go to one of our teams here. Let's talk a little Nebraska football. Dylan Raiola. Everyone thinks he's the next Patrick Mahomes.
Man, I tell you,
Tell me about after week 1. Has your prediction changed prior to week 1 compared to after seeing them play week 1?
So I'm going to stick with my prediction being 8-4. I think, you ask any other Nebraska fan, yeah, it's probably changed. We're probably going 10-2, 11-1, something like that. But I still think, kind of like Missouri, we're going to drop some games. I don't think that we're going to drop one in the first 7.
So to be clear, you think you guys are going to start the year 7-0?
Yeah.
If you guys start 7-0, how high up do you think you're ranked?
I mean, we were top 10 back in 2016 when we were 7-0. We had wins against Oregon. I think we were number 9 in the country. So we're going to be in the conversation.
And let
by that
me
time.
tell people what your first 7 are.
Go ahead.
UTEP, you've already won that.
Yes.
The big one is in 2 days that Ray and I will also be at. We will be at this game in person. Colorado at home.
Major weekend.
Deion Sanders, Dylan Raiola. These schools hate each other. We're going to be there. So that's week 2. Week 3, Northern Iowa. You'll probably win that game. Week 4, Illinois. Tough game.
No.
Week 5. Week 5, Purdue. At Purdue. Week 6, Rutgers. Rutgers has gotten a lot better. Week 7, bye. Week 8, you play at Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there is what you think you're going to go 7-0 through.
Now, I'm a little worried about Purdue. Their defense looked good. Obviously, they played nobody, but they did look good. They do typically have a good defense. Walters is defensive coach. Rutgers, a little worried about them. That's the one that I've always been saying.
Greg Schiano.
Yeah, Schiano.
How do you say it? Schiano?
Schiano. I've always been worried about them from the jump when we started talking about this stuff. I think that they're going to give us a test, but we're at home. So I think that we'll take care of them. Indiana will be a walk, like you said. Now, the last 5
Indiana's
are the
got
big
that
ones.
new coach from James Madison.
I know. I
believe.
watched them. Yeah, I watched Signetti. I watched their game this weekend. I've got it
Probably
all.
hadn't had enough time to get in there and do his thing yet.
They looked kind of good. They looked good. I can't remember who they played. It was also a cupcake. But they didn't look bad. Again, the last 5 games, so I think we're going to go 1-4 the last 5. We got number 2 Ohio State in the country. I think it'll be a great game there at their place, the Horseshoe, right?
Yes, at Ohio State. Then you go UCLA at home.
Yep.
Then you go to USC, who just had a big win.
Huge win.
Then you play Wisconsin at home, and then you go to Iowa on Black Friday to end the year.
Right. So I think we go 1-4 those last ones. I think the easy win would be UCLA. Now, I'm sticking
they
with
barely beat Hawaii.
gosh.
I don't know if you saw any of that, but yeah, UCLA barely beat stinking
that was bad.
Hawaii.
It was like 16-13.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to go 1-4 the last, 5. But
So if
after
you
watching week
Okay.
1, oh brother, I would love to say, hey, I think we can beat Wisconsin. I think we can beat Iowa. USC looked really good, but I'm going to stick with 8-4 just to be safe. I don't want to be, drinking too much of the Rule-Aid, as they say up in
the
Nebraska.
Rule-Aid. Okay.
Rule-Aid.
Well, I have Nebraska going 7-5. The biggest disagreement that I have is I have them losing this weekend to Colorado. We have a little bet on this. We have a good friend, Marquand Hughes. If you're listening, I'm riding with the Buffs this weekend in Lincoln. 7.5-point underdogs. And that's the main one that I disagree on. I think late in the year, yes, you're going to lose 4 of the last 5. I don't know exactly who you're going to beat. I could actually see you guys beating Iowa because Iowa's offense is... I still They scored 6 points in the first half last week. Okay, all these Iowa fans think that they're back because they ended up scoring, I believe, 41. I think it was 40. They won
Right.
40-0. They scored 6 points in the first half. They did figure it out in the second half.
Cade McNamara went for 252 yards, 3 TDs. He looked good all in the second half, pretty much.
Yep.
I had
Kirk
somebody.
Ferentz was suspended actually,
Yeah,
so it's
Which-
kind of interesting to see that.
Yeah. I mean,
unfold.
he's not in the doghouse.
I have
very
some hot
much.
takes on Kirk Ferentz. I'm not going to get into it now, but maybe we'll save that for another episode. Cade Crawl.
Shout out.
But yeah, I have Nebraska going 7-5. I do think it's an improvement. I do think Rayola is going to be legit.
Wow, we said that live on a mic. Good thing
Yep.
we got this recorded.
I was a little skeptic going into week 1, but when I watched him, very calm in the pocket. Doesn't seem like his heart rate ever got up. He made a couple off-platform throws. He made the throw up the right sideline, dropping it in the basket. Guy scores. I mean, he looked good. I'm curious to see what it looks like when his pocket gets a little jumbled. Unless
Right.
Nebraska has the best O-line in the country, because he wasn't close to getting.
Right.
He didn't have to move really the whole day, but he looked good. Nebraska, I thought, looked a lot better than I thought they were going to look. But
Wow.
I still think
The love. Okay.
this weekend is a tough one. I don't think you guys are going to match up on the outside. We'll get into that here in a little bit. All right.
Okay, we're
Last,
gonna
my
save
last
that?
school.
We're gonna
yes.
save that?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll get into week 2 predictions.
Kansas.
Kansas. Here's my team. Now, for some of you, what I'm about to say is going to shock you, but it's probably because you're uneducated on their schedule. Okay? I have Kansas going 10-2. I have them for sure losing at K-State October 26th. I think they're going to lose that game. And I cannot figure out the second loss. I'm tempted to say 11-1, but I just don't think
you
they're going to
just
do
feel
that.
like they're going to drop.
They're
a
going to
game.
drop one of these other games, and it might be this weekend at Illinois. Illinois sold out. First time they've sold out a home game since 2019 or something weird like that. And it's a night game, kind of a tough place to play. Kansas 5.5-point favorites. So it might just be this weekend, but we also play at West Virginia September 21st. Tough place to play. We play Colorado. We're avoiding Arizona. We're avoiding Utah. We play TCU at home. I also think that could be a tough game, but somehow I think we're going to lose 2 games, 10-2. Great season, and another surprise later in the episode that I'm going to talk about with my Kansas Jayhawks. But I think for the season they're going to go 10-2.
Let me ask this: if they go 9-3, is that a failure given their third or fourth year? You know, you've
No.
always said that this is going to be the big year. What if they miss the playoff? You said this is going to be the playoff year. Jalen Daniels, is this his final season? If they go 9-3, miss the playoffs, are you going to be upset?
No,
You think
No.
it's okay?
because
Okay.
where they came from.
Yeah, it's true. They were at
Yeah.
the bottom of the barrel.
No.
Okay.
My hopes is that they go 10-2, but 9-3 with a chance to win 10 games in the bowl game, I think would be a great year. The key to Kansas season is, can number 6 stay healthy?
Mm-hmm.
Can Daniel stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, I mean, we almost beat K-State last year at home with Ballard playing quarterback. We had our third string quarterback play for majority of that game.
Right.
Daniels was out. Bean got hurt during the game. So, yeah, I have a lot of confidence going into the year. Big game on Saturday night. So, yeah, that's what I got. I don't know what your prediction is on Kansas.
Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule here. UNLV looked really good the other day, and I don't know if Houston's just as horrible.
Houston did look horrible.
Okay.
Yeah, they got killed
Okay.
by UNLV. Yeah.
I mean, outside of that, I feel like when I looked at it in the past, your schedule looked a lot tougher than what I'm seeing. Now, as I said earlier, I've already got, I think Utah will be in the Big 12 championship. Did I say that they're going to play against Kansas State in that?
Yeah. you did.
Okay, I did. So I got to
Which would probably mean you think we're going to lose to K-State head-to-head
right.
and
that
lose
would,
one other.
and that would bump
conference.
up Kansas State's record that I originally said. I'm gonna agree with you. I think that you'll probably go 10-2. I can't really look at the schedule and say go against that. I think 11-1 is an opportunity for y'all to do. Is definitely something that can happen. But I'm just a little worried you might drop one or two. I don't ever think BYU is a slouch. I
No,
don't ever
and it's at BYU.
right. I don't give Iowa State any respect.
They didn't look very good week 1. They have a
Yeah.
big game this weekend against Iowa.
I do know they have a good quarterback.
What's his name?
I can't remember his name.
Can't
Something,
remember it either.
it's something unique. It's
Yeah.
good. It's a good name. The one that I kind of keep zoning in on here, November 30th at Baylor. DeQuan Finn, transfer from Toledo, is going to be their QB.
I like their coach too. Ex LSU DC, I believe. is where he
Aranda?
was at. Yeah.
Yeah. At Baylor, they're just going to be tricky. And if you guys are having a great season up to that point, hopefully, you guys can keep the you're going to come off of a big win, hopefully against Colorado at home.
Yep. Arrowhead.
That Baylor game could be something sneaky that you got to be careful about. So I'll say that one. I'll say Baylor's going to be maybe your second game drop. Go 10-2, and I do have you in the playoff.
Okay.
I originally had you out, given what happened with Florida State week one. I've got you in. I think the 11 seed.
Okay. I would be great with that if we made the playoffs. So to recap our season picks, I have Missouri going 9-3. I have K-State going 9-3. I have Nebraska going 7-5, and I have the Kansas Jayhawks going 10-2.
Can't even remember what I really said. I think Missouri 9-3. They're going to drop some important games. I do have them in. And then K-State 11-1.
Yeah.
And Nebraska 8-4.
And
Kansas 10-2.
Okay. All right. Well, there's our predictions. Hold us to it. We will check in on those weekly. Let's go through some week 1 winners. Who'd you think stood out to you? Who made a jump? Who impressed you across the whole college football slate week 1?
I've got two teams that really, really impressed me. I know we're trying to only pick one, but I came into the season thinking, USC, first season in the Big Ten, that they were going to be kind of a slouch. Week 1, they looked good. They were giving up pass plays all day long in the first half to Kyron Lacey at LSU. But, gosh, when their defense needed a stop, when their defense needed a big play, they had it. That's something they did not have last year.
Lincoln Riley teams have never really had that.
Right.
And they had it. They had it.
That
This was probably the biggest USC win in a long time. I don't know how long it's actually been, but this is Lincoln Riley's biggest win at USC for sure.
That was a tone setter right there. That sets the tone for the season. I originally came in thinking, man, that they're not going to be able to defend us, and I think we'll be able to defend them. But
you had some worries, or you felt good about them coming to the Big Ten because you thought it was going to be
right.
someone in the Big Ten could typically just push around or
right
out physical them.
Right, like they just made the plays when they needed to make the plays, and in football, I've kind of learned over time watching Nebraska just be horrible in those big moments the last 8 years. USC did not fall for that this year, and so I think that they were a big winner of Week 1 with their win over LSU. Real quick on Notre Dame, I just want to say I also didn't give them any respect. I don't have them in my top 12 or final 12. And I feel like I'm going to eat that bullet later on. They looked good.
You might regret that.
Yeah, they played complimentary football. Coach Freeman came in with some energy into Texas A&M, and I'm kind of happy that they won.
He's a good coach. He's a likable guy.
He is. He's a good dude, never in over his head. Opposite of Brian Kelly, in my opinion. I don't like Brian Kelly, as you could probably see from this weekend, but I thought that was a huge win for them, and it kind of sets them up also a tone setter for the season. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got them now as the solidified 5th seed between all the sportscasters and announcers across the country. They all think that they're locked in at 5 based off the rest of their schedule. They got
the
Florida
rest of their
State,
schedule
right?
is pretty suspect.
Right.
But this was the big one.
Right. I think Florida State's the remaining one. They were supposed to be big, and we saw what happened.
They probably still play USC.
Do they?
I can't remember.
I'm not sure, but I do know I'm impressed with them. and what Coach Freeman did this weekend. So those are my
Okay.
winners. What about you?
So Ray's got them. My winner for the week is Texas, and I'll explain why. They're going to the Big House this weekend. They're going to play Michigan. For those who didn't see, Michigan did not look great. I'm a little worried about them. There's going to be some fall off, I think, from last year's team, obviously win the national title. Texas is one of my I would not be surprised if Texas won the whole thing. People think I'm crazy when I say this. Quinn Ewers is legit. They have one of the best offensive lines in the country. They have 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen back. They are losing a bunch of skill players from last year. The Chiefs benefited from one of those with Xavier Worthy. They have a big transfer player, though, out of the University of Alabama. Isaiah Bond plays receiver. And they're extremely deep everywhere, which is going to be important, them now being an SEC. They have a pretty tough schedule. Like I said, they play at Michigan. They have the toughest non-con game scheduled, Michigan being that. And they're going to Michigan. So I think this is a big game this weekend. They're my winner just because I think they looked really well. I had some questions about their defense going into it. Defense balled out. And Sarkisian is my second favorite
I really like
coach
him.
in the country.
I really like him.
He's a really good coach. Some people don't like his style. I think this is his best Texas team. So yeah, that's my winner for the week. Just because I think they are. I knew they were good, but they looked better than I thought they were going to look early, and I think they're going to go up to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and beat the crap out of Michigan.
Great.
So-
I like that. I didn't think you were going to say Texas. I mean, they didn't play anybody, but
Yeah. I mean, there's some other ones that had big wins, Notre Dame, obviously, like you talked about, USC. But I think Texas is going to be better than them this year. I think if they were to play head-to-head, they're going to beat them, and I think they proved that week 1.
Yeah.
So,
I'm excited to see them. I love their offense.
let's talk losers. Let's talk about who let you down. Who do you think let you down? Do you want me to go first on this one?
I'll go first.
Okay. Who let you down? Who are you disappointed with?
I'm very disappointed in Florida State. We've mentioned them about 4 or 5 times already.
The fall off.
I had them originally in my playoff before the season started. After week 0, I moved them on out, and obviously before starting this, I didn't want to look like an idiot. But I'm admitting I'm an idiot. So, Florida State, they were supposed to have this bolster defensive line. Everybody's an NFL draft pick on that line. Did not see it the last 2 weeks.
Couldn't stop Georgia Tech.
Couldn't do it.
Georgia Tech, 2-0. They're now ranked.
Crazy. Offensive line supposed to be just as good, better than last year. They're all experienced. Man, they did not look good. Now, contrary to popular belief, all the people wanted to desecrate DJU after week 1 in Ireland, or after week 0 in Ireland. I disagreed. I thought he played well. I thought he made the throws that he needed to. He had some big-time plays. He put him in position to win. Their defense really is what lost him the game with that field position play in the last, 10 seconds that Georgia Tech got in. But then fast forward to week 1, Boston College made him look silly. He was the old DJU that everybody talks about. He looked like he was back at Clemson last year or 2 years
A
ago.
little hesitant.
Just can't trust him. He didn't make the right throws.
I will say he made a couple good throws to
And
their
the tight
tight
end.
end that
Oh, boy.
made some that poor guy. Gosh,
Yeah.
he couldn't have caught a cold in the winter.
Let me sprinkle this in a little bit. There's a 4-star tight end from Omaha, Nebraska, committed to Florida State. I wonder if he begins to rethink that, given what he saw week 1 out of Nebraska, and obviously after the first
Maybe
2
he
weeks,
wants to
Florida
play
State.
with Raiola.
Yeah, I mean, geez. But who knows what they got coming in behind DJU?
So what do you think Florida State does the rest of the year? Do you think they bounce back? Do you think they make it a respectable year? Do you think they only lose 2 games the whole year? Or are you expecting them to struggle throughout the entire year?
Originally, I thought that they were going to be a team that was going to give Miami fits. After you saw that game, Miami looked really damn good against Florida, and obviously they played a lot better competition. I think that they're going to be better.
Miami. Yeah, they did look pretty good.
I think Florida's going to struggle. Florida State's going to struggle the rest of the season. They have Clemson, I think, on the schedule. If they don't, okay, they do.
Yep.
They're going to drop maybe 2 more, and God knows if they lost to Boston College, which I don't want to put Boston College down Bill O'Brien's a great coach. I love
You,
Castellanos.
you Missouri fans, you better watch out because
Yeah,
they're a lot different team they've been in the past. Castellanos can
he's
make
good.
someone miss in a phone booth. Bill O'Brien's a proven good coach in the college level.
He-
Not necessarily the NFL level, but college level, yes.
I
he's
think
done it.
that's going to be a good game between Mizzou and Boston College. They play each other when? Next week?
Might be the next week or the week after. I cannot
That-
remember off the top of my head.
And I mean, I don't think Mizzou's going to, they're going to know what they're about to deal with. They're not going to
I
take
think
them for
Mizzou will
granted.
win, but I think it'll be tighter than most people think.
Oh, yeah. And if Boston College wins, uh-oh, look at that.
Bye-bye playoffs.
Right. But yeah, that's my week 1 loser. How about you?
Clemson Tigers.
Disagree.
Dabo Sweeney, now, what I'm saying you got to take with a grain of salt because I still think they're going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
If you look at their schedule,
Right.
they don't play anyone the remainder of the year realistically outside of Florida State. They play. Louisville's going to be a tough game, or Louisville, however you say it.
Louisville, the Ville.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, they play NC State as well, but they're going to play them coming off a bye. NC State's pretty good. Concepcion's one of the better college receivers, I think, in the country.
Is it Texas A&M, North Carolina State this weekend too? I think that's a big game that Kirk Herbstreit's going to be on.
No,
Glad to see what they
Tennessee,
do.
NC State.
Oh, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but back to Clemson, I just don't think ever since Trevor Lawrence has left, the program's not the same. They have a hard time developing quarterbacks, from what it seems like. So I don't think Klubnik has been developed. I don't think when seeing DJ leave, I thought it was DJ,
Maybe it's not.
but now after watching Klubnik for the last couple of years, I'm just like, maybe it's maybe it's the system. I don't know. I think they're going to make the playoffs, but when they get into a playoff game, I just think that their quarterback and their offensive scheme is not
For the big boys, really.
Yeah, I mean they're still a big boy, but every time they play these big time games, they just seem to let you down. They're gonna beat these other, they play Appalachian State this weekend. I'm just, for what Dabo is and what he says he's gonna be, and all these promises and this and that. I like Dabo as a guy. I just think he maybe has lost it a little bit when it comes to Clemson. So yeah, kind of disappointed. I didn't think they were gonna beat Georgia, but I didn't think they were gonna get the crap beat out of them.
Well, you got to remember it was 6-6 at half, so
I think it was 6-0.
or 6-0. It was a tight game. It wasn't like it was a blowout until the second half.
But that just shows me that he got outcoached in the second half. He didn't
True.
make any adjustments.
True.
I mean, Georgia's a different beast, but I don't know.
Everybody wants to blame it on the transfer portal, and Dabo's not gonna, give in and really put all his chips into that like everybody else.
They have good players. I don't think it's a player issue.
You don't think? Okay.
No. And the weird thing is their offensive coordinator came from TCU, where
Riley, right?
Yeah, what's his name? Who's the quarterback that he had that was a Heisman candidate?
Duggan.
They had Duggan, so I'm
Council
just like,
Bluffs. Shout out.
is it an offense thing? Is it a Dabo is controlling the offense to a certain extent? I don't know. So Clemson, you guys really let me down.
Maybe they were just scared. They didn't want to turn the ball over. But yeah, no, I agree. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I think that they're good. I think that they're going to be fine. But I do agree. I don't think they're going to be able to play with the big boys. I don't think they'll ever be able to stand up to a top 5 team. So
Let's talk playoffs.
let's do it.
And by the way, to recap, the losers, who did you have again?
Losers, I had Florida State.
Florida State and Clemson, 2 ACC schools.
Yikes.
Florida State, a lot of people had playoff hopes. You can kiss that goodbye.
I definitely did.
All right, speaking of playoff hopes, let's talk playoffs.
Okay, how do we want to do this? You want to go?
I'll go no particular order. This is just who I think is going to get in.
Okay.
Like I said, no particular order. I have Alabama. They looked really good week 1. I have Ole Miss. Also looked really good week 1. Georgia. Haven't lost a regular season game in 40 whatever games. Texas. I already told you, wouldn't be surprised if they won it all. Ohio State. They kind of worry me, to be 100% honest. Not a Will Howard. I'm not bought in on Will Howard yet. Penn State, I think their defense is good enough, and I think their offense is going to be better than they have been in the past. Shout out Andy Kotelnicki, Kansas' old offensive coordinator, is now Penn State's. Oregon, I have them in there. I'm not really going to pay much attention to that week 1 game against Idaho. I think they just thought they were going to go out there and roll them, and they didn't. I have Utah getting in there. I have the Kansas Jayhawks getting into the playoffs. I have Clemson, who is just my week 1 loser, getting in the playoffs. I have Notre Dame and the Liberty. Liberty. Yes.
Okay.
Those are my 12 teams. That's who I think's getting in. No particular order, but those are the 12, and we will come back to that. When it comes playoff time, we'll see how many we got right. Who do you have?
I have somewhat of a order. So my top 4, I got SEC, Georgia. They're going to win that. They'll be number 1. The big one that you disagree with, I got my Big Ten winner as Oregon.
I do disagree on that.
Potentially could have been a week 1 loser. They did not look good against Idaho, but I'm going to stand by them. I love
Although
what Dan
Gabriel
Lanning's
played
done.
well.
41 for 50.
Yeah, he
completions.
played really well, but
Defense looked bad.
just didn't score many points. Also, if you watch the game, Idaho ran about 55 trick plays, and that's how they scored. I believe 14 of their 17 points were off of a trick play.
Wow.
So
Look at you with the stats. That's fire. I got Clemson out of the ACC. Utah, Big 12.
Mhm.
Then I'm kind of like you. I just think Ohio State, everybody's high on them. Gosh, I don't know if I
so do you
trust the
still
K-State
think they
quarterback.
squeak in?
I do. I have them in. Then I have Texas, Alabama, Penn State. Penn State looked really good. Andy Kotelnicki, the former Kansas offensive coordinator, had the boys up there in Happy Valley playing well against West Virginia at West Virginia too. What was the final score of that game? It was a blowout, I think.
I don't even remember. There was like a 2-hour rain delay at halftime, or like a
Yeah.
lightning delay. So I kind of zoned out after that.
They look good, though. They look the opposite of Clemson. I think Penn State, when I've watched them the last couple of years, they look scared to throw the ball down the field.
Drew
were-
Aller, a lot of people are high on him. Penn State quarterback.
He was moving. He was running in with his legs. He looked really good.
Singleton, their running back.
Nice.
Is it Singletary or Singleton?
I think it's Singleton. Nick Singleton.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, he's good. And then I've got Miami, ACC loser. Now, this is my bottom 3. Actually, I'm going to throw in my...
I don't have Miami, but after watching them week 1, wouldn't be surprised. They look better than I thought.
I think they're going to be good. Now I'm going to skip over the two power 4 teams. I'm going to go with my group of 5. Memphis. I've got Memphis.
Mm.
They play...
No Boise State, huh? A lot of people
No.
are on Boise State as well.
I watch Boise State. They play some tougher games.
They play Oregon this week.
Right. And I just... They were getting scored on all day this weekend. I can't remember who they played, but it was like
Georgia
40.
Southern.
Yeah, I was like...
Their
they
running
gave
back
up,
had 6 touchdowns. Boise State's did.
They gave up 40 points or 38
remember his
points to Georgia Southern. Wasn't very impressed with them. I think they're going to drop some games if they can't score, if somebody shuts down that running back. So I've got Memphis. Really don't know why. I've just got Memphis. Nick Saban said it.
So is that 12 or is that 11 for you?
That's only 10. I
Oh, it's
jumped
10.
over these bottom 2. Now, this is where I've got K-State and Kansas in. Florida State is out. I think the ACC is going to beat up on
So you
each
think
other.
The Big 12 is getting 3.
Yes, and here's why. I think Florida State is obviously out now. And
Hear that, all you Big 12 haters?
I redacted them out.
The Big 12 is better than people think.
Now, here's why, though. It's not necessarily just the Big 12. It's the ACC. They're going to beat up on each other. I think Georgia Tech's going to drop some games. I think they're going to lose. If they do play Clemson or Miami, they're going to lose those.
Georgia Tech also plays Georgia to end the year.
They're going to lose. I
Rivalry
still
game.
think, even if they lose that game, they're going to be highly rated. They're going to lose another softer game, and they'll be out of the conversation right outside of it. Florida State's already going to be outside of it. Their season's probably over at this point. The boys over there could just pack it up and go home. That's why I think K-State slides in and Kansas slides in, give or take some record changes, give or take some losses or wins. I think Big 12 is going to get 3.
Okay, so those are your 12.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, well,
All right.
there's the 12. We'll talk about that later in the year. We probably won't revisit that every week. Maybe we can have a mid-year check-in, or we can, I don't know. We'll come back to it at some point. Next topic.
Heisman.
You want to talk Heisman?
Yeah, you hit me with your Heisman.
Let's just run over this one quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
I
real
have
quick.
Jackson Dart winning the Heisman. Ole Miss quarterback. I think Ole Miss is going to score a crap ton of points. I think they're going to be really good. He had a really good week 1. 6 total touchdowns, 5 passing, 1 rushing. Also threw for about 500. So, yeah, Jackson Dart is who I think is going to be the Heisman winner because I think his team is going to be really good and he is the catalyst of the team. So, that's who I have winning the Heisman. Who you got?
See, I didn't really have a pick coming into this, but I want to say maybe Dylan Gabriel, not because of all the stats. I think given the week
The
one,
journeyman.
it's gonna be. Is that his nickname?
I don't know. I'm just saying he's played for
Okay.
3 different schools now: UCF, Oklahoma,
Okay. Yeah.
and Oregon.
He's gonna have to will his team through the Big Ten, and I think he's got the experience to do it. I think he's got the talent to do it. Like you said, he played really well week 1.
You also like their coach.
I really like their coach. I think he knows their strengths, and he stood up for Dylan Gabriel, said he played fantastic in his press conference. So I'm going to pick Dylan Gabriel because I think that they're going to win, and I think they're going to win big.
They're going to have to make it through the Big Ten. They got some tough games.
Right.
But, yeah, okay. Dylan Gabriel, Jackson Dart. That's who we got for Heisman winners.
All right.
Let's look ahead to week 2 in the college football slate. A
We got
lot
Missouri.
of these are kind of some of these schools still have cupcakes. There's some tough. Mizzou has a cupcake, I guess. Everyone else actually has somewhat of a tough game. Mizzou's favored by 34.5. I think they're going to roll. I look to see Luther Burden more involved this week.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have a bad week 1. He scored a touchdown, but I think he only had 3 catches. I think he had 4 total touches, 3 catches and a rush. I think they're going to let their starters play a little bit more this week, but I expect them to roll. They'll go to 2-0. What are your thoughts on Mizzou?
I agree. I don't even think it's worth talking about, to be honest
Okay.
with you. Let's jump over them.
Let's go to K-State.
K-State, tough game
This is an interesting game.
at Tulane.
Yep. What do you think?
Still favored by 9. I think they'll take care of business. I think when you play a Power 4 team as high as they are, Big 12, obviously, I've got them in my playoff. I don't think they drop this game, but I don't really think it's going to be that close. I think there'll be 3 touchdowns.
It'll be interesting if Tulane's coach left. Now is at Houston. If he was still there, I would feel like this would be a tighter game. I don't think it's going to be that tight like you. I think K-State covers the spread. I think Avery Johnson probably has a bounce back game. Looks better throwing the ball, and I think
He can play.
K-State will run the crap out of the ball this year with their quarterback, and I think he's limited throwing the ball, like I've said. So, yeah, K-State will roll.
Okay.
Let's go to Kansas. We'll save yours for last.
Okay. Kansas at Illinois, 5.5-point favorites.
This is a tough game for me. I'm a Kansas guy, and me and Ray went to the game last year. They played Illinois at home, or at Kansas.
Rolled them for the most part.
Yeah, they beat the crap out of them, jumped on them really quick. It was like 14-0 in the first 8 minutes of the game.
Belema's a big boy. We saw him walk by us.
he
Kind of
could-
short, but a big boy.
Yeah, he had to turn horizontally to walk through the door. I have this is a tough game for me. I think it's going to be tight. I think at Illinois at night is a tough place to play. I think we're going to out-physical them. I think we're going to run the ball well. I think Luke Grimm will have another big game for the Jayhawks. I think we'll win by 7. I think it'll be a tight game, though, late.
I think it'll be Kansas. I don't think it'll be as tight as you think. Illinois is just not very impressive to me. Your guys' defense looked really good. Sure, you played the
Lindenwood Lions.
Yeah, I was going to say something that Jeff Wunderlich said, but I won't. You guys played nobody, but, man, the defense looked really good. Whoever number 44 is, I think he was a transfer, you told me.
Wheeler. He's
He
out of
was-
Detroit. He's a Michigan transfer. This is his 3rd year with Kansas. He was all over the place.
He was all over the place, everywhere,
Yep.
getting in people's faces. I enjoyed watching him.
O.J. Burrows was rated the number 1 safety in college football by PFF week 1.
Wow.
Number 5.
I think you guys win by 10
Okay.
or 13. I think it might be couple field goals after a touchdown. That you guys are always in the lead. I don't think that they're going to be able to score on you.
Okay. Now let's get to the fun one for the week. Nebraska Cornhuskers versus the Colorado Buffaloes. Ray and I will be there in person. It's a night game in Lincoln.
6:30. It's going to be under the lights.
Ray was courteous enough to ask me to go with him. This is my first game in Lincoln. Never have been to a Nebraska game. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'll give my prediction first, then you can talk more about it. You know more Nebraska.
Okay.
I have Colorado winning. I made this bet prior to the season that they were going to win. I don't feel as good watching them play week 1, but I'm ultimately hoping that Colorado's talent with about 5 to 6 of their players outweighs their lack of ability to tackle, to play defense, and to block, which those are 3 very important things in football, and I don't think Colorado does any of them well, but their skill players are, I think, so much better than most. And I'm not even talking necessarily Shedeur. I'm not a huge Shedeur guy. We'll get into that later. But Travis Hunter is legit on both sides of the ball. And I'm hoping that carries them. So I have them winning a tight game. They're 7-point underdogs. I have Colorado going to Nebraska and winning.
I think, let's start off. Yeah, I'm excited to be there. 6:30, under the lights. I've been to a lot of Nebraska games in my time. This is probably, and I'm expecting it to be, the best Nebraska game I've ever been to in my life. So
sold out, right? I believe.
Oh, I mean, come on, 300 and some. This might 400 sellouts this season. We're gonna hit.
Wow.
Now here's the thing.
We're getting the full experience too. We're going up in the morning. We're tailgating. We're
yeah. And the thing was, I invited, multiple people. Everybody shut me down. You have always been on it, so I'm glad that you're coming. It's going to be a hell of an experience for you. It's going to be your first game at Memorial Stadium. It's going to be unreal. Now, let's get into the game a little bit. I think that this is going to be super tight, and I'm saying this right now. I think we're going to win 32-28.
So do you think you jump out early, or are you guys... Did they jump out early and you're playing from behind?
I think it's going to be back and forth. I don't know who's going to score first. I just think it's going to be back and forth all night long, trading blows. I am super worried about our secondary. We just give up bonehead mistakes, long balls, fade routes every once in a while. And as you said, they've got 3 guys out there that Shedeur's going to pass to. I'm very worried about what they can do, if they're going to be able to, if they have time, if Shedeur has time to throw. I'm very worried about our secondary, but I don't think he's going to have that time. I think we're going to figure him out. I don't think that they're going to be able to make adjustments.
Their O-line looked horrible week 1. The left tackle actually played well, freshman, but
our defensive line is the core of our team. They're going to probably, I think they're the oldest, they're the most depth that we have. They're going to be able to get to them. We didn't blitz one time. When you only bring 4 guys, which is what we did all last week, and we were getting to their quarterback. Again, UTEP's not the same animal, but if we even have to bring a blitz this weekend, we're still going to be able to get them. That freshman left tackle last week was struggling with North Dakota State defensive line. They're no slouch, but I do think we're going to be able to get there, and we're going to cause some
So you
problems.
have Nebraska winning but not covering.
Not covering, winning.
Okay.
Between 3 to 6 points. I don't think it's going to be a touchdown. I think it'll be we might win by a field goal.
So week 2, technically week 1 of the podcast. Week 2, though, on the college football slate, we have all 4 teams going 4-0 on the week.
I do. You think
you
think Colorado's going to beat
Nebraska
us.
losing. Yep. So I have 3-1. Ray has 4-0. Okay.
Awesome.
We will recap that next week to see how accurate or inaccurate we were. We should even keep a season tally to see who was better at predicting these games.
Oh, we will. We'll have a running board.
All right, really quick though, as we wrap this up, let's talk NFL. I'm
gonna let you kind of man this. Let me ask you the question. So, quick predictions on the season, preseason, if you have any.
I'm just gonna mainly talk Chiefs on this one. We'll give a little bit more time to the NFL as we go.
Okay.
But Chiefs, I think we're gonna go 14-3.
Oh wow.
I think we're gonna have a really good year. Our offense is gonna be one of the best in the league, I think. Tonight we play Baltimore at home. It's we're hanging the banner. Baltimore's probably going to be pretty upset about that. I think we win tonight 31-24.
Wow.
I think we're going to be able to score. I think our offense is going to be clicking. So yeah, for the Chiefs, I have 14-3. Is what I think we're going to do.
What's the line for tonight?
3.
Okay.
We're favored. Chiefs are favored by 3.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. So I think we cover that.
Okay. MVP.
I think Patrick Mahomes wins the MVP. I think our offense is, I'm a little biased, obviously, but I think our offense is, after last year, the offense struggled. They looked horrible for most of the year. Non-efficient, couldn't get out of their own way. Penalties killed them, drop passes, untimely turnovers, you name it. Still won the Super Bowl with it. I think Patrick's upset about it. I think he wants to go out there, and I think Patrick's petty also. He wasn't voted the number 1 player in the NFL.
Petty Pat.
I think he's going to do some antics, after he scores. He's going to be throwing up, the whatever it was. I think he was number 2 on the list. Maybe he's number 4. I can't remember what he was. He wasn't number 1. Therefore, the list isn't accurate. So, yeah, I think he's going to be upset about that and trying to prove some people wrong.
Super Bowl, I think this is an easy answer.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl again. I think
Surprise.
We're going to three-peat. Okay. Who they're going to play, I'm still kind of undecided on, but I think I've landed on Detroit. I think Detroit is legit. I think they picked up some pieces in the offseason via the draft and free agency for their defense. So, yeah, I think Detroit's going to be formidable.
Awesome. All right. Rookie of the Year, I'll actually throw one in here. My Rookie of the Year is going to be surprising to you.
I have an interesting one as well. But
hopefully I don't take yours because I don't know what yours is. I'm going to go Bo Nix. Okay. I've heard some interesting things out of Denver.
I'm not a Sean Payton guy is why I'm not on him. But
the people that we're staying with this weekend in Nebraska, they're all Broncos fans. The Hitzmans, Jack, Joe, Kevin. So
unfortunately, they're Broncos fans.
I think Bo Nix, they just named him a captain, so he's doing something right. He's an older guy. I think he was in college for 5 or 6 years. Yep. So he's probably ready to go. And I think that
is
going to mold him and shape him.
That is a little bit of a shocker to me. Because you're skipping over 2 of the other quarterbacks who a lot of people are going to pick Caleb Williams to win Rookie of the Year. I don't have that.
Okay, good.
I have Washington's quarterback.
We're different.
Daniels just won a Heisman at LSU. His offensive coordinator is going to be Cliff Kingsbury. They're going to throw the ball all over the yard. I think Chicago is going to be better than Washington, but I think, which matters in Rookie of the Year, your record. But I think Daniels' numbers are going to be better because his offensive coordinator is going to let him, I think, virtually do what he did at LSU, not numbers-wise, but I'm saying the amount of attempts. He's going to run the ball a lot. If he can stay healthy, he's my pick for Rookie of the Year.
Awesome.
So, yeah, and then I'll go through one other thing, and then we'll wrap this up.
Okay.
We're going to end each week with what I call the lock of the week. Matt Safranek, you know what this is. This is my sports bet of the week that I feel the best about. Week 1, the one that I feel best about in the NFL, is Houston to cover a 2.5-point spread at Indianapolis. Houston has a lot of buzz this offseason. I'm not as high on them as other people are, but I do think they're going to be good. The spread is only 2.5 points, so they can win by a stinking field goal. And I'm not really sold on Indianapolis. I think they play a tough physical brand of football, but I think Houston's going to be able to score on a lot of people. And, that is my NFL lock of the week is Houston to cover 2.5 at Indianapolis. Take it to the bank, make some cash. I'll keep track of how my lock of the week's, what the record of that is. Ask Matt Safranek. I've won him a hefty amount of money from these lock of the weeks. So that's my pick for the week.
Nice.
That's all we got for week 1 of the Ray and Jake show.
Jake and Ray show.
Jake and Ray, whatever it's called. I get. We might change. If you guys have name ideas, just send them to us because we're not sold on the name. But if we want to adjust it, we can. that's all we have for week 1. We will be back next week. We'll see where we were right, where we were wrong.
Like, subscribe, share, get our names out there.
Yep.
We're going to continue to build every single week on this stuff, and looking forward to see where these seasons go.
Might have a guest next week. So be on the lookout for that. And we'll just have some fun with this.
Let's do it.
Thanks for listening. See you next week.
See ya.